welcome. If you're new here, my name is Isabella and I live in New York City. It is finally starting to feel like spring in New York City, which I am so happy about because this winter has been so long and it's been freezing cold. And I'm just getting so excited for spring fashion and all the cute little spring outfits and pastel colors and everything. I've mentioned this in a few of my other videos, but I do sew and I thought it'd be really fun to sew a couple things for my spring wardrobe. There's a few items in mind that I really want to create, but there's one that I know I'm going to start with. So to preface, I made this plaid mini skirt last fall. It's just a low-waisted mini skirt and I put pink lining on the inside to match the pink stripes in the skirt. Here's a close-up, but yeah, there's some pink stripes in it. All winter, I've been planning on making a matching top to go with it. So the kind of top that I'm envisioning is a vest top, and I found a pattern on Etsy. I'll put a photo in here of what the pattern is supposed to look like. And I actually have leftover fabric from when I made the skirt. I measured it out. It looks like it's enough for the plaid part, which I'm really happy about because this fabric was not cheap. I think it was like $35 for a yard. But then for the lining, I am putting pink lining in the vest top as well, just so it matches the skirt. And I don't think I have enough of the pink fabric. So I'm gonna cut out whatever I can now. And I think I'm gonna have to go to Mood Fabric Store later today and pick up more of the pink fabric. Also, one more thing to mention is that I go to a weekly sewing class in the Garment District. It's a 3-hour class and you can just work on your own projects, whatever you want. And there's a sewing instructor there to help you if you need help. One more thing actually that I want to mention, I'm kind of nervous with the vest top because one issue that I had with the skirt is lining up the stripes. So if you can see here on this side, like the stripes didn't line up perfectly, but on the other side, I did match them up really well. Where is it? Oh, on this side. It definitely looks a lot cleaner. So with the vest top, I'm going to try really hard to make sure that the stripes match up with all the pieces of the pattern. So that might be kind of difficult, but yeah, we'll see. As you can see, I have quite a bit of leftover plaid fabric, and then I need to cut out one of these and put it on a fold so it kind of opens up and it's going to be bigger. So there is plenty of space for that. And then it came with these instructions, which aren't the most detailed instructions. There's only 4 steps and the last step is just like sew on the buttons. So I do wish the directions were a bit more detailed. Little update, I laid out the pieces. I feel like I'm actually not gonna cut these out right now just because I want my sewing instructor to look it over and make sure I lay them out correctly because this fabric was expensive. So if I mess up, it will be a little bit of a pricey mistake. I will see you guys later at Mood to pick up the fabric. And I'm also gonna take a look at the buttons because I need some buttons for this vest. I don't know what color to do. I feel like if I did pink, it would be a little bit too much. So I'm thinking to just do black buttons because it will match the black in the stripes of the fabric. I double checked to make sure that all of my pattern pieces were laying down on the plaid fabric correctly and were laying very straight so the stripes in the plaid wouldn't be crooked. And then I cut out the pattern pieces of the outer layer, which was 2 front panels and 1 large back panel. Then I pinned the pattern pieces on the pink fabric that I just bought from Mood Fabric Store and cut out the same large back panel and 2 front panels for the inside lining. This was so much easier and less stressful because it's a solid color, so it didn't matter if the pattern pieces were laying slightly crooked or not. The next step was to sew the inside lining and the outside fabric together at the shoulder seams, so I did that. And then I had to pin and sew all around the edges except for the side seams. I sewed with the standard 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, and sewing the straight edges was pretty easy and straightforward. But sewing around the neckline and the armholes was a little bit of a challenge since it's curved and I had to kind of turn the fabric as I was sewing. It was a bit difficult to keep the 5/8 seam allowance even all around the curves while turning the fabric, but I went slowly and it was really good practice. After that, I spent a good 30 minutes using the iron to press the seam allowances down to either side to minimize any bulk in the seams, and then I turned the vest inside out so the good side was facing out and again ironed all of the edges. Hey guys, it is about a week later. I haven't worked on my vest any more than what you saw because I actually went home to New Jersey and I didn't bring my sewing machine with me, so I haven't gotten any more sewing done. But I figured while I'm home here, I want to go to Joann's fabric store and get some fabric for my next project. For my next project, I'm thinking of making another mini skirt. So I'm going to use the same pattern that I already have that I already used to make the plaid mini skirt, but I really want to make one that's in a butter yellow color because I think that would be really cute for spring. I was inspired because I tried on a butter yellow mini skirt from Abercrombie and I really liked it, but one, it was kind of expensive and I feel like I can make it at home for way cheaper now that I know how to make a mini skirt. Also, their mini skirt was a little bit longer than I would want a mini skirt to be. So yeah, I'm gonna head over to Joann's now and I'll see you guys when I'm there. Got back from Joann's fabric store and I wanted to vlog more in the store, but it was honestly pretty crowded. And the reason why it was so crowded, I think, is because the location was closing. I found out there were all these signs saying store closing, everything on sale. Found out from one of the employees that Joann's fabric store is completely going out of business. Like every location is closing and they're closing down the online store. So I'm really upset about that because this is where I get all my cute fabrics from, and Mood Fabric Store doesn't have these like cutesy prints and like cheaper fabrics. It's so much more expensive in the city, so I'm really sad about that. Anyways, I'm gonna show you guys what I got. I obviously came for fabrics, but I also wanted to look at scrapbooking materials. So I saw that they had stickers that were on sale and I got a bunch of them. I know this is not really related to the sewing video, but I'm gonna show you guys anyways. Got these holiday themed stickers. There's some stickers for each of the holidays. Then I got these cute flower ones for the spring. These other flower ones. Then I got these snowflake ones and then some white letter stickers. Okay, now for all of the actual sewing related things that I got. First up, I got these buttons for my vest and they are like a dark brown kind of color. Yeah, they're brown poly resin. Then I got some zippers. So I got a pink one, a purple one, and a light yellow one. And then I got some hook and eyes that I can use for skirts and different things. Now for the fabric, this is where I went just a little bit crazy. So first I was looking for a butter yellow fabric to make a mini skirt out of. I saw this one, which I don't know, you probably can't tell, but it's actually a really soft faux leather and it's really soft on the outside and also the inside is like kind of fuzzy, so I feel like it'd be really comfortable and just like really soft and comfy to wear. And this is the most perfect butter yellow color. This is exactly the color that I wanted. Eventually I did find a butter yellow in a cotton material, but there were only 3/4 of a yard left. And then I was also thinking of making a dress and I'm really into polka dots right now, so I thought a polka dot print would be really cute. So I found this one that's in black and white, and then I got black for the inside lining. Then I got a couple more fabrics just for fun because they had a lot of really cute spring fabric. I wanted a terry cloth fabric. It's basically like a towel material and it'll be really good for any like summer project. I could make like a bikini cover up, so I got one in light pink. Then I got this pink flowery pattern and I got another floral design but in purple, and then also just a lavender solid fabric. Hey guys, I'm about to leave for my sewing class and just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on where I'm at with my project. So with my vest, I've actually gotten a lot done the last class that I had. Here is the vest so far, and now it actually looks like a vest and it's really coming together. So the last steps that I have to do are the side seams, and I'm not gonna lie, I did a size extra small of this vest, but it's still looking kind of large and I wanted it to be like a smaller, more like tight fit kind of vest, and that's what the vest looked like on the example photo when I bought the pattern from Etsy. So I do think I'm gonna have to take out quite a bit from the sides to make it more tight fit. Okay, obviously it looks kind of weird with the shirt that I'm wearing right now, except the colors do kind of match, so that's kind of cute. There has to be enough room for the buttons, so I don't know. I have to take off like maybe that much, but it actually looks like a vest. Like I'm so surprised how quick this was. And the patterns were a little bit difficult to understand, but worked out pretty well. Hey guys, it's next week and I don't think I got any footage at the last sewing class that I went to, so apologies for that. It was just really crowded at that class and honestly kind of just chaotic and loud. I was getting so frustrated and stressed with the vest, so that's also another reason why I didn't end up filming last week. So here it is. The next step that I had to do was the side seams, but because I had to take in the vest so much because it was so big, the front part of the vest and the back part were not lining up well and it was kind of like sticking out in the front. So then I had to do a lot of rejiggering around and like going back and forth. I did so much seam ripping to get these to line up. And it was really hard to match up the plaid to make sure the pink lines and all of the plaid stripes were matching up. So please do not use plaid if you are a beginner sewer like me because it is so frustrating. Like if this was a solid fabric color, this would have been so much easier. Anyways, I did all the alterations, I did the side seams, and then when I went to try it on, the armholes were so small. Oh, and one more thing. When I first tried it on, it was so tight on me and it definitely made it like way too small to the point where there wouldn't have been room to make buttonholes and have it overlap a little bit so the button could go on. So I also went back and made it bigger. But now it's in a really good place. I'm so happy with how it's looking. The first step that I have to do is cover up these inside raw seams here. It says to use a serger machine, but my sewing school doesn't have the right kind of threads that will fit in the serger machine that match this color. They said the closest that they have is a lilac purple, which won't really blend in very well with this. So I don't know, maybe I could do purple, or I could just do a zigzag stitch with my sewing machine, which would probably be the easiest thing. And then I have to sew the buttonholes, and there's a special way that you can sew around a buttonhole. Apparently there's a setting on the sewing machine. I don't know how to do it, so I am gonna ask my sewing teacher how to do that and then sew on the buttons. Here is the vest. As you can see, it fits so well and I'm so happy with how well the plaid lines are matching up. Here is the back. Before I made the armpits bigger, the armpit holes were literally up to here and this part was going in all the way here. It was just so tight, so something is weird with this pattern, and I literally took a whole inch all around the circumference. So now this is definitely a lot more breathing room for my arms and it's way more comfortable, so I'm really glad that I went back in there and fixed that. I'm gonna head out now and I'll see you guys at the sewing class.
As I mentioned, the first step was to make the raw edges on those side seams look a little cleaner by sewing a zigzag stitch over them, which also keeps the fabric from fraying. Using a serger machine on any raw edges definitely creates a more professional look, so it's too bad my sewing center didn't have pink thread in the right size spools. But I honestly thought the end result with the zigzag stitch looked great anyways. And it's on the inside of the vest, so no one else will see it except for me, so I honestly didn't care too much either way. My sewing instructor taught me how to sew the buttonholes using a special setting on the sewing machine. I was really nervous to do this part because once you sew the buttonholes, it's really hard to remove and re-sew if you mess up. And I was anxious to sew them unevenly and make the plaid stripes crooked looking. I was practicing sewing buttonholes for maybe half an hour until I got the hang of it, and then I hung my vest on the mannequin and marked with tailor's chalk where I wanted the buttonholes to go. I finally sewed the buttonholes and then hand sewed the actual buttons onto the other vest panel. I ended up finishing right when class ended with 5 minutes to spare to clean up, so it was honestly perfect timing.
Hey guys, it's the next day and I finished my vest last night, so I wanted to show you the final product. Here she is. I spent so long doing the buttonholes and sewing the buttons on because I was really scared that the alignment of the stripes in the front wouldn't align perfectly. But the buttons actually came out perfectly, and thank God, because you can't really remove a buttonhole and redo it. Once you sew it in, it's pretty much there, and once you cut the little buttonhole part, you can't uncut it. I really just cannot believe I actually made this. Like, I think this is the best garment that I've ever sewed so far. I calculated how many hours this took me in total, which was 11 and a half hours. Obviously, that's a really big time commitment, but as I get better with sewing, I think things should take me quicker. And also, every time that I make something, the next time that I make that same thing again with the same pattern, it always gets easier and faster. So I think if I remade this vest, it would probably take me like half the time. I also have the matching skirt with me, so I'm gonna go ahead and try these on together to show you the final look. I also got some pink tights from Amazon to style with this outfit, so I'm gonna put those on as well. Ta-da! Here is the vest on with the matching skirt. I am seriously so obsessed with how it fits and how it looks. And with the pink tights, I think it really just pulls the whole look together. I also put on my loafers with this outfit, which I think gives it a cute preppy look. I also really like that the length of the vest is on the longer side, so it matches perfectly with the low-waisted skirt. I also like that the neckline is a little bit higher and doesn't cut too low. A lot of the vest patterns that I was seeing on Etsy were like super low, and personally I like a higher neckline, so this one is just perfect. It's still March right now, so I was thinking I would be able to wear this set in May, maybe April, but today is a high of 79 degrees and sunny, so I actually will be able to wear this set today. I'm gonna go outside now to take some photos and videos with this set, so let's roll the montage. Make some other things for my spring wardrobe, and obviously I didn't get around to it in this video. I just thought that this video was already getting too long and it was taking me too long to film. I think I was working on this vest for like 3 weeks or something, and I think I'm just gonna break it out into multiple videos. So if you want to see more sewing with me videos, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned because there's definitely more coming on the way. If you have any ideas of things that I should sew for my spring and summer wardrobe, leave a comment down below because I would love to hear your suggestions. That is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and coming along with me on my sewing journey. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in